Technologies, ReliefBand.com. And Nick, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much indeed for having me, Michael, and good evening.
My pleasure. All right, you have a unique product that is really got universal applications for everybody around the world. Something that, I could see the Chinese have been doing this for years and years and years, but not to the point where you've taken it. Let's back up a little bit before we get into what ReliefBand actually does, and talk for a moment about your management skills. This isn't the first time you've had a successful venture on your hands, and I'd like to bring that out. A little background in you about the person that's really guiding the ship through the tumultuous waters of our current economy and all the problems that exist out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the economy actually is a challenge, but those who are successful now will be successful in the future. Yeah, a little bit about me. I'll probably gather from my accent. I'm from good old UK. I was born in London. I'm a scientist by background. All actually got into marketing, both practically and academically. Started my career, a majority of my career with Merck. Worked all around the world with them and ended up running one of their divisions out of the US, in vaccines. And then in late 2004, early 2005, took the plunge and started my own company called Topaz Pharmaceuticals. Took that actually from a business plan right through to an exit, raised money from various institutions and angel investors. And we took that company from a concept right through to an FDA approval and sold that company to Sanofi in 2011, very profitably for everyone. So, I'm an energetic, curious entrepreneur. I like looking at new ventures and new technologies that have profound application and disruption in the markets they're in.
I'm very impressed, especially the hard part of taking a venture from idea, business plan, and then to an exit, and then getting everybody paid. Congratulations on being able to do that.
Thank you. I think they were all pleased.
Let's talk about ReliefBand. Let's bring the company out here. The technology in neurotechnology.
Yeah, it's neurotechnology. The actual genesis of the company really goes back to Abbott Laboratories. They developed a technology. They were looking for something to cure nausea and vomiting, and also known as emesis, for people who were, say, under chemotherapy or post-operative. And they were looking for a novel approach that didn't make the people sicker by giving them drugs and have side effects. So they developed a technology which is called AccuTens, which is a mixture of acupuncture or acupressure and TENS, which is transcutaneous electroneurostimulation, which you may have heard of because people use it for back pain and things. Anyway, they developed a product and a technology that you strap on the bottom of your wrist, and it digitizes an algorithm of nerve impulses. It goes up your medium nerve, goes down your vagal nerve, and it stops all sensation of nausea and sickness very quickly, very effectively, with no side effects.
Let me stop you for a second. I want to get into this. Yep. If you could bring that out, is it just a straight pulse, or is it catch the rhythm of your system? How does that work?
Good question. I mean, how it definitively works is still got some question marks. I mean, the theory that we have, and it seems to be borne out quite well, is that we don't have a constant pulse. It's actually a sort of proprietary algorithm. The products we've developed have something like 25 patents surrounding them. And it doesn't give a continuous pulse because, in fact, your nerves will sort of wear out and get used to it. So it's a sort of algorithm that repeats every 3 or 4 seconds with a gap in between. And it causes pulses that literally neuromodulate. They change the signals in your nerves. So rather than feeling nauseous or even going to vomit, you stop feeling that sensation altogether. Because nausea is usually the product of something else happening, post-operative, motion sickness, morning sickness, something like that. And this actually intercepts those signals and stops you feeling that way.
So from what I've been able to read so far, you actually give the patients the power to control their own digital therapeutic wearable technology. Walk us through that. Yeah,
that's a very, very, very important point, Michael. The fact of the matter is that this is an FDA-approved or cleared product. So, you have to go through the registration process and prove it works. But you actually put it on your wrist. You can imagine something that looks a little like a watch. You wear it on the underside of your wrist. and it has an on-off button and 5 settings for different power settings, which gives the patient the ability and empowers the patient to control their own level of neurostimulation and to stop the sensation of nausea and vomiting, which is something we're very passionate about, and it's really the way that medicine's going these days.
Let's get into the products, because I'm on your website and I see 4 of them. Can you walk us through them?
Sorry?
The top one, Primabella?
Oh, right, yeah. I mean, actually, you're looking at the website. We're concentrating our marketing now onto one product, which is ReliefBand. In fact, you're looking at the older legacy product.
Mm-hmm.
We originally had 4 different products with 4 different brand names, 4 different verticals in the market. I came in around about 9 months ago and felt that was very complex, especially for a small company. So rather than having 4 different brand names, you've got Primabella, Relatex, Nomatex, and ReliefBand Voyager, we took a decision to simplify things both for physicians, patients, and consumers, and we have just gone now to one brand, which is ReliefBand.
Got it. All right. On the ReliefBand, from what I understand here, you have FDA-cleared devices. I don't understand why the FDA would have to clear a mechanical device. I know it's electronic, but I mean, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the FDA, there's, pluses and minuses in that. The FDA, obviously, they're there to regulate, as their name describes, foods and drugs for safety and efficacy. And basically, anything that has an effect on your body, they're interested in, especially if it's a claimed effect that provably works. So they have different levels with devices and drugs that they approve. Actually, from a business point of view, there's a very positive aspect to having FDA clearance, and that is that it demonstrates to people that this is something that really works. It's not some sort of snake oil. It's something that actually has positive proof and clinical trials behind it that demonstrates that it will do what you say it says on the packet, so on the label. And that's a very, very important point. So with a device like this, and especially the way it was originally developed, where it was primarily being used initially with patients who have sickness after chemotherapy or post-operatively, it was felt very important that we needed to demonstrate that the product was safe and effective for people who were actually basically already sick. So that's why the company decided to apply for FDA clearance, and that's why we've obtained it, both for RX and OTC.
Congratulations on that. I know that's a major boom for you. Was it a tough battle to get FDA clearance on this?
Yeah, I mean, the FDA has its hurdles, and, they're not programmed to say yes, quite rightly. They want you to prove your points. And so, I've been in this industry for nearly 30 years, so I just rise to the challenge, and it's something that you have to take into account as you're developing a product and thinking it through. But the FDA today isn't the FDA, say, 10 years ago. You can go down there, you can consult with them, they're useful, they can act as a sounding board. So before you even start to actually put trials and clinical trials to them in an official sense, they'll certainly give you some guidance and feedback before you get there.
I'm back on your website here. It says fast acting. How fast is it?
That depends on the person. It can be anything as low as a minute or two through to about 10 minutes. It also depends really on the cycle where somebody puts it on, how sick they're feeling. If you're just about to have a vomiting event, then snapping it on may or may not stop it. If you put it on, say, before you get on a boat, my wife does this quite regularly. If we go onto any sort of boat, put it on about 10 minutes before you get there, you won't feel a thing, no effect or anything like that. So it's very, very fast-acting. It's fast-acting than, say, some common drugs like Dramamine. And it doesn't have any side effects like sleepiness, which often these other drugs do.
Well, let's do this. Nick, let's take a break here, and I want to delve into all of the different types of uses that you have for ReliefBand, because it's not just for seasickness. There's other symptoms that it relieves.
Absolutely. I'll be delighted to go through that.
All right, we'll be right back with Nick Spring, CEO, ReliefBand Medical Technologies. Web address, Relief, RELIEF, band.com. iHeart.com. And special thanks to 1-800-PublicRelations.com for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back.
This is Pete the Fast Creek, host of Race Talk, the motorsports talk show heard every Saturday live from high noon to 2 p.m. right here on 1190 AM. NASCAR, NHRA, the IndyCar Series, we talk about it all. Plus, we let you know where they're racing right here in the Metroplex. So join me, Pete the Fast Creek, for Race Talk, the motorsports talk show live at high noon right here on 1190 AM and streaming live at iHeartRadio.com, keyword 1190 AM Dallas-Fort Worth. And remember, keep your racing on the track, not on the street.
Attention men and women, are you suffering from back pain, neck pain, or joint discomfort? Would you like to learn of a non-surgical solution? Call American MedFix at 972-591-6675. That number again, 972-591-6675 to receive free info on how you may qualify for natural creams that may provide you with the relief you are seeking. All products are 100% made in the USA. Call now, 972-591-6675 or visit AmericanMedFix.com.
I'm Dr. James, founder of Diamond Physicians, a concierge medicine practice located in Dallas, Texas. Our Diamond 360 advanced physical exam has been created for people like you who live a high-stress, fast-paced life. Every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. experiences a life-changing heart attack or debilitating stroke. Negative stress tests and normal cholesterol levels do not exclude you. Half of all fatal heart attacks occur without warning. Diamond goes beyond traditional medicine with the Diamond 360 Advanced Physical Exam, proven to prevent heart attacks, strokes, and diabetes. Contact Diamond now at 214-395-3491. That's 214-395-3491. Or visit our website at diamondphysicians.com to take the Diamond Challenge. If your Diamond 360 reveals perfect health, receive a full refund. Your loved ones will thank you.
Every day, millions of Americans are putting themselves at risk just by writing a check using a credit card or an ATM. We're talking identity theft. And that's why the National Foundation for Credit Counseling has compiled a list of tips to help reduce the risk of having your personal information stolen. Never give out personal or account information when responding to a phone or email inquiry unless you initiated the transaction. Open your credit card and other bills promptly and reconcile your receipts and accounts. Just because your credit card is in your wallet, it doesn't mean you're not at risk. Skimming or stealing credit and debit card numbers is a huge part of identity theft. If you've been a victim or think your personal information has been compromised, you need to act immediately. The identity theft recovery process can be long and daunting, but you don't have to do it alone. Contact a certified counselor at the National Foundation for Credit Counseling at 1-800-388-2227, who can guide you every step of the way. This has been a public service message from the NFCC.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. I have Nick Spring, CEO, ReliefBand Medical Technologies, on the show with me. All right, Nick, welcome back to the show.
Hello there, Michael.
All right. When we left off, we were just starting to get into the uses for ReliefBand, and you had mentioned about seasickness, but you know, there's a lot of other uses. As a matter of fact, my press agent, Matt.Bird, had mentioned to me that he has his fiance, the morning sickness is a thing of the past with this woman, and it has been a tremendous help.
I'm glad to hear that she's used it. Yes, we've been working hard on developing actually a new version, and we'll be developing even more. But it does have other uses. I mean, so its general claim is for nausea and vomiting caused by first trimester pregnancy or morning sickness, and it's particularly effective on that. Motion sickness of all types, whether it be in a car, whether it be on the ocean, on a boat, for instance. Post-operative sickness, something like a third of people are actually, after they've had an operation, they have some form of nausea or vomiting. And that can carry on for 4 or 5 days, even after they've been discharged from hospital. And also, of course, and very seriously, people who are under chemotherapy often are very sick for days and days, and this device is particularly effective there too.
Now, let's stop right there. That is a big deal with me. I watched my wife and actually took care of her dying of cancer, and that
Oh my
was a
gosh.
big problem.
Yes, it is, and it's something, and this actually goes back to the root of why the product originally was developed. Because, people who are undergoing chemotherapy obviously have cancer. As you know, chemotherapy itself is very, very daunting and insulting to the body, and people get sick just from that. But often people will take antiemetic drugs, the direction of the doctor, and that's quite right. So a lot of antiemetic drugs have side effects. Most notably, they make people very lethargic and sleepy.
Yep.
So this product avoids that. You wear it, it stops the nausea, it stops the sickness. I had a lot of feedback from people who've used it. It has an official actual prescription claim for that particular indication. It's highly effective, and it does work, and it keeps on working for days and weeks without any negative drug side effects. It's very, very good in that particular instance.
Have the insurance companies been able to pick up on this and be able to bring it in as something that they would cover?
They had in the past. I mean, I took this company over. It's a sort of a pick-up and turnaround situation over this year, and in fact, the codes have lapsed. So we're looking at doing that again. But the price point that we have the product for over the counter right now is around about $65, $70. So actually people can pick it up straight from Amazon.com, for instance, for that sort of price. So in some ways, it's very affordable. And the fact that you can replace the batteries and it keeps on working means that actually it's a very cost-effective adjunctive device in addition to anything else your doctor's asking you to use.
Hey, at $1,000 a piece, if you've got that kind of a feeling, it's affordable. Because that is, no, really, it is. I think,
absolutely.
I mean,
as I said, the price point's well below that, but it is a very, very affordable device, and it works very, very well indeed.
What about the lifespan on these devices? Talk to me about that.
The prescription devices used in hospitals have a 3 or 5 day lifespan. The device that we have for sale over the counter has an indefinite lifespan because you can just replace the batteries. And it just takes normal little flat batteries, the CR2025s, that you can pick up at any drugstore. So that device just carries on going.
What's the market penetration? I mean, talk to me about the people, if there's any competition out there, and where you're going with that with the company.
That is a very good question. So, the whole world of medicine in the last sort of 3 to 4 years has been undergoing great change as the medical area becomes very, very digitized. And we are moving from a sort of an environment where people are measuring stuff, when you've got things like Fitbits and that type of thing, to an environment where, therapeutics are coming forward. As far as we're aware, we're the only therapeutic product in the nausea and vomiting market that's available at the moment, and we're not aware of any other developments there at all. The market itself is very large. There's something like 58 million people in the USA every year suffer from some form of nausea. And the market penetration, I mean, we are, growing sales rapidly right now. We've doubled sales in a year. And we see that, there's huge, huge potential. The level of penetration in this market right now is very, very small. Therefore, we've got a huge opportunity.
Now, you've mentioned the market share in the United States. Has there been any interest outside the borders of picking up your product?
Yes. The product is actually sold in the UK, in Brazil, in Turkey, and yes, there's been quite a lot of interest outside. It's a small company, though, and the CEO, I'm trying to focus on developing the U.S. market first, for obvious reasons, but certainly we think that there's great potential not only here to grow, but overseas as well.
Now, I understand that we're not just talking about the product here. We're not just talking about your management skills, although that bleeds over into another situation. I understand that you have a tremendously high morale in your working environment. How have you managed to achieve that?
Yeah, we have. I mean, I think it's, something actually that I take forward, both from my previous company that I created to this one. And not surprisingly, people who were there have followed me across to this. I think it's very important to, if you hire smart people and they're good at what they do, I think you have to give them the freedom to allow them to perform. So, that's basically my core management style. I want people in the team who feel they can always go the extra mile. They feel they're rewarded both, financially, but more importantly from a recognition point of view. Startups and turnaround companies tend to be small groups of people, teams. And I'm a great believer, people are what companies are. Investors, I think, have realized that over the years more and more and more. The number of times I talk to institutions, venture, private equity, or whomever, and they say, we invest in the management team. And in some ways, business is sometimes secondary to the management team. So I think it's really important that, any leader, manager thinks about that very carefully and ensures both that his board and his employees are really focused and really keen and understand what's happening. And as much as, practically possible, and trying to keep the company as transparent as possible too.
Well, it's deeper than that. You can have the right people for the right job. I mean, morale can just suck. It can just crash. You do something else. You have to have something else in your secret sauce that keeps the morale high, keeps the work ethic at a high level, and keeps people wanting to give that extra because they take ownership in the company, not just picking up a paycheck and doing their job right.
Yeah, I think you hit a very key word there, Michael, and that was ownership. And I think that, having worked in corporate America as well, where people will often avoid trying to take ownership or make a decision, the difference in contrast with working in, a company that's dynamic and growing is that people will take ownership. They will lead. They will do stuff. They will take initiative. And as an individual, you've got to really back them on what they do. I mean, hopefully you've also got the open door of trust that they feel that they can bounce ideas off you before they go, off down the road and crazily do something. That's important. Another element here, by the way, is I do run these companies semi-virtually. I have staff scattered all across the USA, so we make maximum use of things like video conferencing, telephone calls, as well as obviously getting on planes and going all over the place.
Well, what's happened with your company and the feedback that I've gotten from people around you, you've got a secret sauce in your management skills that takes it from an idea into a team effort that makes a successful and profitable company, let alone a real pleasure to be there. Let's talk about your plans for the future. I mean, obviously expansion begets more capital formation and more expansion and uses for the funds. What do we have planned for ReliefBand going forward? What have you got for us?
Well, I think that's an excellent question because, any company, especially in the technology world, can't stand still. If you look at leaders in this type of area, generally in the digital area, they usually have 3 products going in one area at one time, and as much as they have a product in the market, a product they're about to launch into the market, and then another one they're thinking about launching, and there's something like a 6-month to 12-month gap between those. So what we're doing right now is we have a product. We've just actually launched a slight variation on the original product. The original product, you couldn't replace the batteries. Now you can replace the batteries as of this Monday. We just launched it. And what we're looking to do is actually develop what we're calling the 2.0 product, where we want to completely redesign it, have it in a much, much more attractive wearable format, and probably also in one version have Bluetooth connectivity so that we can not only give therapy, but we can measure, maybe even anticipate when people are going to feel nauseous or actually vomit, so that we can actually have a smart device effectively on people's wrists. We're also looking at different applications because, as you know from acupressure, there are different types of applications you could use. Like this potentially could be used for irritable bowel syndrome, migraines, and a number of other uses, lower back pain. So we're also looking at that as well. So there's a lot of exciting, elements that we could do as we move forward with this product and this algorithm that we have.
Thank you for what you do for humanity, and I wish I would have had your product last year. It would have been a tremendous aid for me. We've got to close for the interview right now, Nick. We're out of time, but before we go, contact information for you, for anybody that needs relief of the symptoms that you brought up here today.
Okay, well, we've got a website which is already identified. That's ReliefBand.com. And the other thing is that you can call us at 877-735-2263. If you want to speak to me, just ask for Nick Spring, and the customer services will put you straight through to me.
Perfect. Thank you, Nick, so much.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Nick Spring, CEO, ReliefBand Medical Technologies, ReliefBand.com. Believe me, I wish I would have known Nick this time last year. He would have really been able to help my wife.
I'm sorry, sir.
That's all right. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome. All right, good luck, good trading, and special thanks to 1-800 Public Relations for all your media and PR support. Publicrelations.com, pardon me. And we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.